It's games like this that make me wonder if the Ottawa Senators will ever be a legitimate team in this league. Sens lose 3-2 to the New York Rangers in a game in which they looked like they had full control of until about 9 minutes left in the third period. Matt Murray in goal for the Sens. He was injured in this game. I hope he's doing all right. I'll get to that a little later on. And Victor Mété's in on the back end for the Sens in place of Michael Del Zotto. After Igor Shasturkin'S stellar play this week, he gets a deserved day off, and Alexander Georgiev gets in net for the New York Rangers. And the Sens have a really fast start in this game as 41 seconds in, Nick Paul snipes home his second of the season. Nick Paul was a hero on this play. He wasn't so much of a hero later on. We will get to that. Tim Stützle and Connor Brown get the assists on that goal. And then there's some miscommunication between Josh Norris and Victor Mété. The puck comes out in front. Matt Murray robs Sammy Blais. Sammy Blais is a guy who is going to be a key character in this story going forward. He played pretty good in that first period. I mean, they did give up some chances of their own. Matt Murray stood tall. Alexander Georgiev was excellent for the New York Rangers. So we go to the second with Ottawa leading 1-0 still. The New York Rangers, I found, had a lot of zone time in the first, 12 minutes or so of the second period. But I thought Ottawa did a really good job of keeping them to the outside as well as getting some grade A chances of their own. And the Sens did a really good job in that second. The Rangers didn't even have a shot on goal at 5-on-5. They had 2 on a power play and 2 at 4-on-4. So we go to the third period with Ottawa leading 1-0, and everything's looking pretty good, right? I mean, yeah, it's only a 1-0 lead. New York could easily come back and win this game like they would go on to do anyways. But Josh Norris would score on Alexander Georgiev early on in the third, just 1 minute and 4 seconds into the third, in fact. It looked like a harmless shot just inside the blue line. I forget who the Ranger defenseman was. It might have been Lindgren who was defending him. It might have gone off of him and in behind Georgiev. Nonetheless, if you're Alexander Georgiev, you definitely want to make the save there. That's a pretty bad goal to give up. The Sens will take it, though. It's 2-0. Shortly after that 2-0 goal, Matt Murray absolutely robs Chris Kreider. And I know we say that a lot when a goalie makes a big save, but boy, he really did rob him. It was like Kreider had the wide open net. As soon as I saw him get the puck with a wide open net, I was like, oh, well, there goes the shutout. And then Murray comes across, gets the glove down, and makes a save. And now here's where things get pretty interesting. Sammy Blais goes to run Nick Paul in the corner. Nick Paul actually does a pretty good reverse hit on him. They both go down, but I mean, that was pretty cool to see Paul do that to Blais. Sammy Blais was chirping all third period long, apparently, as Mike Johnson, who was standing between the benches, noted. Whistle goes, and they're kind of talking to each other at center ice. You want to go, you want to go. Both guys agree, the gloves come off, and they fight. At that exact moment, that's when the downfall began for the Ottawa Senators in this game. If you're Nick Paul, why would you even fight Sammy Blais in that situation? Blais, the guy's got nothing to lose. His team's down 2-0. Maybe he stirs some energy up. I wouldn't say the Sens lost because, the Rangers were so fired up from the Blais fight that made them come back. I mean, there might have been a little bit of that, but I don't really think so. It was more the Sens just not having their guy who was shutting down the Rangers' top line all afternoon long on the ice, and not having a guy who was playing center, a team that's already thin at the center ice position, not being available to take draws. And like I said, just not being there to be that good, calming defensive presence for them. Parker Kelly takes a penalty. He was trying to get around Keandre Miller for a breakaway. He gets the hook in, and New York goes to the power play. And then with the Sens hanging on to a 2-0 lead with 5:23 to go in the third period, Chris Kreider makes up for Matt Murray robbing him earlier. He scores the goal on the power play. The shutout bid is busted. And not only is the shutout bid busted, which I was super ticked off about, by the way, Matt Murray gets injured on the play too. I mean, Kreider, yeah, I know he does have a history with going in and hitting goalies and stuff like that, but this one was not on purpose. It was accidental, 100%. And it was just after he put the puck in the net. He was going by, and his knees made contact with Matt Murray's head. And that just goes to show you how dangerous playing goal can be sometimes. It was such a shame to see that happen to Matt Murray. I really hope he's okay, especially when it's a head and neck area injury. It's very concerning, that's for sure. Then Anton Forsberg has to come in goal. The guy's been sitting on the bench since 1 o'clock in the afternoon, real time. He comes in 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes later. That's never a good situation. Tim Stützle tries to go in on a breakaway. Jacob Trouba trips him. They call Stützle for embellishment. And Jacob Trouba gets called for the trip. It's a 4-on-4. For myself personally, and this is not being biased either, I will call out guys if they dive, even if they do play for my favorite team. Tim Stützle, I thought he had an honest case, so I can't believe they called a dive on that. And for Trouba, he should have got the only penalty. So we go 4-on-4, and this is where the Sens just completely fell apart. I don't know if it's just a young team not knowing how to handle a moment like this or what. But Ryan Lindgren comes in backdoor. He receives a great pass from Adam Fox. He puts it home past Anton Forsberg. Welcome to the game, Forsberg. I mean, that was really unfortunate to see. And then shortly after that, Barclay Goodrow tips one in front. It's 3-2 Rangers now, and the Sens went from looking like they were going to put this game away easily to just making it way harder on themselves than it had to be, and then eventually just losing the lead completely. The Sens would pull Anton Forsberg. They didn't really get much going with the 6-on-5. They did have one chance with Josh Norris in tight. Josh Norris, by the way, speaking of him, he gets drilled from behind with about 10 seconds to go from Chris Kreider. And Kreider, well, I don't think he's a dirty player. I know it's going to kind of sound funny after this game. I don't think he is a dirty player. I mean, but still, he's got to be much more aware there that you can't hit a guy when he's got his numbers to you like that. Kreider would get a penalty. The Sens would not do anything with it, as the puck would get won off the face-off by the Rangers. It just kind of went over to the sideboards. Mika Zibanejad and the rest of the 3 Rangers that were on the ice with him hold it along the boards. The game's over, and the Sens lose. Now, I see a lot of people blaming the refs after this game, and well, did the New York Rangers get some calls go in their favor today? Yeah, they probably did. But did the Sens lose the game because of the refs? No, absolutely not. They 100% lost this game on their own accord. They did not deserve to win with that sloppy play by Nick Paul, fighting Sammy Blais with about 9 minutes or so left in the game. It was just uncalled for. And that's why this game review is called Lessons, because the Sens needed to learn a lesson from this game. That can never happen ever again. That's what happens when you're too worried about getting fighting majors, and that seems to be a bit of an issue for Ottawa. They need to rectify that. So those are my thoughts on this one. Please let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I'm very frustrated with the Sens here. I mean, I still can't believe they lost this game. 5.5 minutes to go, you're up by 2, and you lose in regulation especially. You got to find a way to put that game home. And for Ottawa, they need to learn a lesson from this and have much better game awareness. So let me know all that and more in the comments section down below. Like I said, please like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.